I'm going to start this the same way I'm going to end it, and that is to say that it's my honor to introduce you to Fred Hemmings. Fred has filled his life with accomplishments, and I'll share them with you. But mostly, I want to take these few minutes to help you get to know him as a person. In the 1960s, Fred won the Makaha Junior Championships twice, the Senior Championships twice, and then he flew off to Puerto Rico and won the World Championships in 1968. He has often said that his travels as a surfing ambassador with Duke Honolulu and the surf team were the best years of his life. In a lot of ways, Fred was out of step with the surfing world during the 1960s when many of us were free-spirited bohemians. Fred was a jock, a football player, drug-free and straight-laced all the way. As Fred himself has said, while picking up his trophy at the 68 World Championships dinner wearing a suit and tie, he said he looked out at a room full of hair and beads and paisley and felt like an IBM salesman at a Cheech and Chong conference. Fred is a visionary. He had the foresight to launch professional surfing both as a contest organizer and as creator of the first World Pro Tour. He created the Smirnoff event, the Pipe Masters, the World Cup, and the Triple Crown. He inaugurated the I.P.S. International Professional Surfing World Tour, precursor to the A.S.P. and today's WSL, asking me and Randy Rarick to run the women's and men's division when he launched it in 1976. Fred was also smart enough to see that women's surfing had a future. In those days, almost all of the male competitors were vocalizing against it, but would never tell us that. Fred was different. True, when I cold called him to suggest he start having women's divisions in his events, he said, "Who do you think you are telling me how to run my contests?" But you know what else he said? "Meet me for lunch and we can talk." And we talked and argued and talked, which was great because in the end, we arrived together at a positive outcome. I have so much respect for him because he is honest and forthright about his thoughts and because he listens. He was the first to support women who wanted to surf in really big waves on the North Shore, first in the Smirnoff against the men in 73 and in our own World Cup in 76. He also included women on that first year of the World Pro Tour. It was a skinny tour for us. We only had South Africa, Brazil, and Hawaii. Australia wasn't interested that year until 77, and we were happy when Lisa's Malibu contest joined the tour as well in 77. We were expanding, but in those beginning years, Fred was losing money. He was paying me and Randy Rarick out of his pocket. In addition to surfing, Fred is the second generation of a four-generation family of paddlers. He won the annual Molokai Hawaiian outrigger canoe race, the most prestigious in the world, and Fred won it 4 times as a steersman. He still holds the record of having the most career wins as a steersman, 67. For 16 years, he was elected to the Hawaii State House of Representatives and the Hawaii State Senate. I haven't asked him, but I think his proudest moment, because I see him light up when he talks about it, was working with former President George W. Bush to sign an executive order to create the Papahanau Moko Akea Marine Sanctuary, the largest conservation area in the United States, 582,000 square miles of ocean and islands that are northwest of and part of the extended Hawaiian Islands chain. Now, people get in trouble with the United States Coast Guard if they don't follow the rules about protecting cultural and natural resources. The coral reefs, the sea life, the beaches. Fred, bravo for that. Fred is a deeply devoted family man. That's his daughter Megan at his table and his sisters Mia and Heidi. Everything Fred has, he built himself. He went to Punta High School on an athletic and financial aid scholarship, which required that he work in the cafeteria serving lunch to his fellow students. He has grit, and he never gives up. You know, a big tree fell on him a while back, and he was in and out of consciousness for the longest time, lying there before anyone found him. He was in intensive care, and I thought, oh no, is this the end? No way. Fred is so strong. He never ceases to amaze, and he will never complain to you about any of that or any of the aches and pains and maladies we all face as we grow older. He just perseveres with unshakable integrity. Finally, my children call him Uncle Fred. My husband calls him friend. And as for me, to this day, not much has changed. Fred, Randy, Rick, and I often meet for lunch. Fred and I immediately start arguing about politics or whatever, while Randy reads the menu. And then at some point, Randy says, "Are you two done yet? Can we order lunch now?" All of that and more, it is why it's my sincere privilege to introduce to you my friend, Fred Hemmings.